Hello and welcome back to SPQR Bootcamp. This is the third video in our series where we're explaining the rules and talking about a little bit of the nuances. And we've already talked about the basic rules of dice rolling, combat, armor saves, rerolls. And then we also talked about bravery check, the phalanx, heroes joining and leaving units. And now we're going to talk about campaigns, heroes, and the talents the heroes can learn. Okay, they categorize your normal troops as minions and your general or your main leaders as heroes. When you create a hero, you create him at level 1, and they can gain levels through playing games. You add 1 to any 2 of the following characteristics, or 2 to just 1. Move, ranged, melee, melee dice, agility, bravery, and wounds. So basically all of his stats. If you give him a +2 to wounds, great. Or you could give him a +2 to hit, or you can give a +1 to hit and a +1 to number of dice that he rolls to hit. However you want to do it. Also, you give them 2 talents. And then every time they level up, they should gain more talents. There's a chart that explains when they get more characteristics and when they get more wounds. And the experience points needed to gain the level is on that chart as well. After every battle, every hero will gain experience points for the following actions. +1 for surviving the battle without failing a will to fight check, so being brave. +1 for every enemy unit destroyed or driven off. And the hero doesn't have to do that alone. If the hero is attached to a unit and this unit eliminates that, he gets the credit for doing that. +1 for every level of enemy hero slain in a challenge. It's one reason why you might challenge, so that you can gain levels and experience points. And no characteristic except wounds can be increased to be more than 2 higher than his original stat on the warband list. A model cannot go up more than 1 level per battle. So even if you get a ton of experience, you can only go up 1 level. Every time a hero gains enough experience points to go up a level, you have to spend 25 denarii before the model actually attains the new level. Okay, let's talk about campaigns. Now, after you've played a few battles, it's time to start thinking about running a campaign. A campaign is a series of interconnected games involving 2 or more warbands. You can think of a campaign as kind of a story. Your campaign may be a simple struggle for supremacy between 2 warbands, such as the Thebians and the Athenians. They might be fighting over rich farmland. This campaign system is very quick and easy to play and allows for a drop-in box style. That means a group does not need all members present in order to carry on playing. So maybe you've got a club and you've got 5 or 6 people and they all want to play, but Joe doesn't show up because he was sick and had to go to the hospital, especially nowadays. The other 5 can still play games, and then the following week, Sam, he can't be there, but Joe can. Well, now you can have more games, and you're building up your experience of your heroes and building up or losing men out of your warbands. Creating a warband. There's plenty of warbands available in SPQR. Caesar's Legions, Gaul, Dacia, Sarmatia, Imperial Rome, Britain, Germania, Macedonia, Athens, Sparta, Thebes, Persia, and Iberia are the ones that come in the core book. They're anticipating maybe releasing some additional army lists coming soon. And every warband list in this book has 1 or more heroes of legend, real personalities. These are actual characters, actual people from history. Every model, weapon, or item of equipment in SPQR has a value in denarii, showing you how much it's worth. You can assume this is the cost of hiring, training, or buying each hero, minion, or item. You have 500 denarii from which to buy models and equipment from the warband list you choose. You must purchase at least one hero to lead your force, and all minions must be placed within units. Any denarii left over can be saved for future purchases. A warband may have any number of minions, but a minion may only take part in a battle if it form a unit of at least 5 models, unless it states it starts with fewer, like maybe an elephant. No more than 30 of the same type and with the same weapons and armor and equipment. If you have 4 or less minions of the same type, they do not make a unit and will not take part in the next battle. Yeah, so you might have like 3 wholly different units. 2 of them get reduced to only 4 models, and in the next game, now you only have 1 unit that you can place because the other 2 can't form a unit. Once every player has a warband ready for play, you agree on the campaign goal, the first warband to achieve this being the winner. Yeah, and you can have like a tournament organizer or a campaign organizer come up with some goals, because each army can have a different goal, or you can all have the same goal, or whatever. Each warband must play a set amount of games within the overall winner being the victor of the most battles. That's one option. Each warband must play a set amount of games with the overall winner being the warband worth the most denarii. That's another option. The first warband to field a hero level 10. Or the first warband to reach a total value of 5,000 denarii is the winner. Can you imagine having figures on the table with 5,000 denarii? Holy crap. Once the campaign goal has been decided, you're now free to start. 3 steps. 1. Challenge. Any player can challenge any other player at any time. He just asks him to play. Hey, you want to play? Then you roll a die, figure out what the scenario is. Now, you can roll there's what they call generic scenarios, and then there's warband specific scenarios. So like the Romans have their own scenarios, the Macedonians have their own scenarios, and if you're the challenger, you can choose to roll on your own scenario table. Number 2, fight the battle. Set it up, play it. 3, calculate victory and update rosters. Once every game has been played, players should determine who has won their scenarios and check to see if the campaign goals have been reached. After that, the warband roster should be updated with any deaths and injuries, and with experience points. Models that left the table due to failed will checks are immediately returned to the warband. The winner of the fight earns 30% of the value of the warband he fought, while the loser earns 25% of the value of the winning warband. Okay, so if you're playing 500 points against 500 points, if you win, you'd get 150 denarii. If you lose, you would get no warband can earn more than 300 denarii in any single fight. When I say warband, I'm talking about a player and his army. These denarii may be spent within your warband list immediately, adding new models or upgrading existing ones. And that's where, if you get those 2 units reduced to 4, you buy 1 man per unit, and now you can field all 3 of those units I mentioned earlier. In the normal course of games, when a model is reduced to 0 wounds, it is removed from the table as a casualty. However, a shot or blow that takes a model out of the fight does not necessarily mean the model is dead. It may have suffered a serious or debilitating injury, or may have just received a scratch, kept his head down during the rest of the fight. The coward. When a hero is reduced to 0 wounds, roll 2 dice and consult the table below after the game has been played to see what really happened to him. The scratch, injure, crippled, dead. Scratch. Suffered a nasty wound. he can take place in the next campaign. Injured. He suffered a serious injury and has to miss the next game. Crippled. The hero has suffered a permanent and debilitating injury and will miss the next 2 games as he recovers and must roll on the injury table below, applying the effects. And then the last one is remove him from your roster. Okay, injury table. You got leg wound, arm wound, head wound, and on death's door. Leg wound is -1 move. Arm wound is -1 melee. Can't use two-handed weapons. Head wound is -1 ranged. And on death's door, roll a die 1 to 3 -1 bravery, 4 to 6 +1 bravery. Injured minions. Minions do not roll on the injury table when they are removed as casualties. Instead, roll 1 die for each minion that has become a casualty. On a 4 or more, they're returned to the warband, no ill effects. On a 3 or less, they're dead. So you get like half of your minions back, and your hero isn't necessarily dead. If an enemy hero dealt the final blow that removed the hero from the table, add 2 to the result. Roll 2 dice and consult the table below. Okay, it's 6 to 12, 12 being dead, and you get a +2. So that was the campaign. And then there are 6 generic scenarios: border invasion, livestock, occupy sacred ground, sacking the village, fall of heroes, and caravan. I'm not going to go over all those scenarios. We might in a future video, but not during this boot camp. The next thing is talents. Talents are special abilities learned by heroes that give them a vital edge in the battle. Most talents have a prerequisite listed. The hero must fulfill all of these prerequisites, like 2 armor or +3 ranged or something like that. Talents are arranged in trees. They're connected in some way, representing growing power of that tree. And before you select a talent, you must have every other talent that is lower in the same tree. Using talents. If it's passive, they're always in effect, do not require an action to use. If it says action and then something in parentheses, these talents are triggered by using that action. If it says special and something, you have to use that special action to activate them. And then they must be immediately followed by that action. Like a shoot action. You might have something that says you aim better and then you shoot. So that's 2 actions. That's the special and then the shoot. Campaign. If it says campaign, it's only used between battles. It's not used during the battle. You can also only use 1 talent per action. You cannot use things like Eye of the Hawk and Precision Shot, because after Eye of the Hawk, you have to take the shoot action. Okay, the trees are Archer of Legend. That has Eye of the Hawk, Crippling Shot, Critical Shot, 1 arrow, 1 kill, but as a different path, it has Eye of the Hawk, Precision Shot, Armor Cracker. Then there's Beloved by Fate tree. Dicing with Fate, Fate Companion, and Fate's Master. Fate's Master is worth getting, but you have to do Dice of Fate and Fate's Companion before you can get it. So it's like you have to suffer through these other talents until you get Fate's Master. There's Brawler. I don't really think it's that great. You have Dirty Fighting, which knocks people down. Then you got Piercing Thrust, lowers their armor. Or Knockdown, which means you can just knock people down. Divine Prodigy basically gives you luck. And Blessed at Birth. Okay. Divine Luck and Blessed at Birth. Before you can get Blessed at Birth, you have to do it at level 1, which means it has to be your first talent picked. But you can't pick it unless you also have Divine Luck. So that tells me you're committed to using your 2 talents that you get when you make your hero to Divine Luck and Blessed at Birth. it's great because you get to add one to any of your characteristics, even armor, and it counts as your new beginning characteristic. Fortress of Spears. That's good for phalanx users. Only the Athenians, Spartans, Thebians, and Macedonians can use it, and only while they're in a phalanx. They can do about face, pushback, fight in the shade, and as one. As one basically gives them a reaction move when they're charged, and fight in the shade gives them extra rerolls to their armor checks. But if they're attacked while they're fighting in the shade, they suffer. Pushback pushes your enemy 1 inch and takes their shield away from them. That's good. God of Battle. You have Mighty Blow, which moves on to Decapitation and Horse Warrior. Not Warrior, but Warrior. Mighty Blow triples the number of wounds. Horse Warrior basically causes cavalry to make bravery checks. If you have something that's not a horse, like an elephant or a camel, you get to reroll your bravery. Decapitation may only be taken if the hero is armed with a sword, axe, or great axe. And if he rolls a natural 6, the enemy is instantly removed from the battlefield. It's pretty awesome. Hail of Stones has to be used with a sling. And you have accurate, you also have headshot, and then you have sling of fire. Accurate, you have to be 2 or better. Allows you to reroll your misses. Headshot, any parry from a shield is ignored. Sling of fire, speed wins. He rapidly shoots slings. Ignore the slow rule for a sling. That's pretty awesome. Hammer to Anvil is the next chain. Careless Charge, Thundering Charge, Blood Drunk. Careless Charge is they get to double their move when charging, but your opponent gets an immediately free shot action against them. Blood Drunk, if he loses a wound in line of sight to a friendly hero, if he loses a wound or is in line of sight to a friendly hero is removed as a casualty, he goes berserk. And Thundering Charge is the hero surges forward. Hands of a Healer. This is a campaign talent tree. Between battle, he heals an injury. Medicus is between battles, he can heal injured on any hero except himself. He can negate 2 characteristic penalties. And Physician, he can now negate 3 characteristic penalties. Okay. Horse Lord, you have Buckle the Line, Horsemanship, Galloping Thunder, or Buckle the Line, Cantabrian Circle, Parthian Shot. This can only be used with cavalry. Buckle the Line, double your move with a bravery check. Cantabrian Circle, yeah, that's in the history books. That's when they would ride around in a circle, and as the horse got close to the enemy, that's when the archer would fire, and as they were finishing up the circle, that's when they would reload. So it was like a constant fire of arrows by the closest point, while the furthest horses were all reloading. Yeah. Okay, Galloping Thunder, Speed of the Horse. It's all good cavalry stuff. Leader of Men. These are all passive. No, there's also a campaign one. It says Voice of Command. You get +1 bravery checks. Loyal Bodyguard. If you shoot at the hero, you hit the bodyguard instead. Motivation. You can make a unit do 3 actions. Battlefield Control. Moving on. Natural Hero. He can inspire people. Reroll will to fight checks. Heroic Rush. Can take 3 actions in a phase instead of 2. Die hard. Instead of dying, he gets another wound back. Die harder. Shield master. And must have a shield. He gets shield bash, shield wall, and shield of steel. The hero bashes a target with a shield, causing damage. Or 2 if you have a large shield. Shield wall. +1 bonus to armor checks. But you suffer -1 when you shield of steel. The shield grants an additional parry against range attacks. The Son of Chionis. Okay, you pick Lightfoot, then you can pick one of 3. Quick dodge, well planted, or back at you. Lightfoot, during a move action, you can jump over 1-inch obstacles with no penalty. Back at you. Okay, let's see. Quick dodge. Fierce skirmisher. In cover, you still get a -1 to shoot him. Well planted. Steady on his feet. He doesn't get knocked down. And back at you. Lightning reflexes. He can scoop up a javelin thrown at him and hoist it back towards the enemy once per turn. Sword of Vengeance chain. Wall of horn, and then it breaks down into 3 trees. It goes, Now You See Me, Web of Death. Or Lethal Blade, Blade Master. Or Darting Blade, Numbers Count for Nothing. An extra parry. Now You See Me. He can flee a battle without attacks of opportunity. Lethal Blade. His sword gains lethal 2. Blade Master, it gets lethal 3. Darting Blade. If you kill an enemy, he immediately performs a free melee action. Numbers count for nothing. Enemy units in close combat with this hero gain no bonus for having 10 or more models. Okay. And Web of Death. Titan of Battle. You have Hammer of the Gods, Mightiest Swing, Mightiest Blow. Only if you got a weapon that has Smasher. Twin Blades of Hades. You have to have 2 swords. Basically, you gain 2 bonus melee dice rather than just 1. The hero doubles his melee dice rather than just gaining a bonus die. Or Hurricane Blades. Doubles his melee dice rather than just gaining a bonus dice. Also gain a parry every close combat attack made against him. Okay. Voice of a God. Warcry and Demoralize. Okay, and that was all the talent trees. All right, that was the boot camp for SPQR. We learned how to do melee attacks, ranged attacks. We learned how to do formations, charge the enemy, how heroes can join a unit. We learned will to fight talents. We learned the phalanx rule, how to roll attacks and armor saves and parries and dice of fate. And I don't know, but I might have missed something. All right, so in the future, we're going to have follow-up videos when we discuss different factions or different war bands, where we'll break them down and explain them. See you next time.